Economic distress is being felt in every state in the nation, but that didn't stop hard-hit Alabama and 25 other states from protecting their investments in pre-kindergarten programs. 15 of those states actually increased their pre-K spending, perhaps most remarkable in this day of deep partisanship. 4 of those states were controlled by Republicans, 3 states and the District of Columbia are controlled by Democrats, and 8 states have split control between the executive and the legislative branches. As Congress considers reauthorizing the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, we wondered how the two parties were able to agree on this issue, at least at the state level. Republican Governor Bob Riley of Alabama, who's been called a profile in courage by Pre-K Now, is a public advocacy group, and he joins me now live from Montgomery. Governor, good to have you with us. Why do you support the continued funding for pre-K programs in your home state of Alabama?
You know, if you went back 10 years ago, I'm not too sure that I did support it until I began to read about it, understand that a child is less likely to drop out of school, will less likely ever go into a detention program if they have a 4-year-old pre-K. And we just made a decision that we wanted not only to expand it, but we wanted to expand it with private and public dollars that gives us an ability to expand it exponentially. I wish we could expand it even more than we did, but if we ever stopped expanding, it's very difficult to regain that momentum. And that's the reason all of us came together, Republicans and Democrats, and said, this is too important for us not to continue the expansion we've had over the last few years.
All right, so as you say, maybe 10 years ago this wouldn't have been your point of view, but can you point to some of the more tangible benefits that you've seen from these pre-K programs that bring you to this estimation?
Oh, absolutely. When we first started talking about it, I said, you know, how long are you going to keep pushing this? Do we take it back to 2 years old, 3 years old? But we know now for a fact the kids that are in these 4-year-old pre-K programs do exceptionally well. They do so much better than the kids who were never given those opportunities. And once you begin to look at the dramatic effect that pre-K has on all of these kids, then it becomes a no-brainer. You have to continue to push these programs because they work, and they work as well as any other education programs in the country today.
Sir, I'd like to talk to you about the economy, though, specifically unemployment, because the jobless rate in your state of Alabama, currently 8.9%, almost a full point lower than that of the rest of the nation. So how do you explain that?
Well, Alabama has gone through some tough times, but we've also had a tremendous economic development program that's gone on down here over the last 2 or 3 years. A lot of the companies, the international companies that we attracted in over the last 2 or 3 years, now they're up and running. And over the last 4 or 5 months, we've gone from 11 to 10 to 9 to 8% unemployment, and it is falling dramatically, primarily because all of the companies that we have recruited over the last few years are now up and running and hiring people.
Sir, what do you think about what's taking place in Washington right now? Your take on the deal on Capitol Hill to extend these Bush-era tax cuts in exchange for a year extension of unemployment benefits. Do you think that's really going to do something to help the country and stimulate the economy?
Oh, I don't think there's any question we're going to have to do something. Now is not a time to do away with any tax cuts. I think anybody that you talk to in the United States today would agree to that. We also in Alabama had 55,000 Alabamians that dropped off of the unemployment rolls. And coming at this time of the year, our ability to go back and help them one more time, I think, is a small price to pay to be able to extend the tax cuts of the Bush era that I really sincerely believe gives a stimulus to what we're trying to do in the United States to have this economy recover. It allows people out there, especially the people that are in small businesses, the sub-S corporations, an opportunity to go back and hire people that they otherwise might not have hired. So I really do think it's a win-win.
Sir, it's great to have this conversation with you today. Alabama Governor Bob Riley, thank you.
Thank you.